I want to spread smiles in disaster-stricken areas. On the 15th, professional figure skater Yuzuru Hanyu, who won 2 consecutive Olympic titles in men's figure skating, participated in the charity performance for reconstruction after the Noto Peninsula earthquake held in Kanazawa City, with his thoughts and prayers for the disaster-stricken areas. Yuzuru Hanyu's heartfelt performance in the Noto disaster area. Although there were no spectators at the event, public viewings were held at 4 locations in Noto, and Docomo's video distribution service, Lumino, was broadcast exclusively live nationwide. As of the 13th, over 10,000 people, according to the organizer, have purchased tickets to watch the event, 4,000 yen, including tax, the proceeds of which will be donated to disaster-stricken areas, and missed broadcasts will also be available until the end of the week. Using his skating and expressiveness to help disaster-stricken areas, Hanyu is honing his outstanding skating skills while remaining a professional skater, helping areas affected not only by the Great East Japan earthquake in his hometown, but also throughout the Kanazawa area. This is a rousing ice performance for disaster victims. The announcement echoes throughout the hall. Next skater is Yuzuru Hanyu. He is a legend in the figure skating world, having won 2 consecutive Olympic titles. I hope we can provide a moment of healing that will bring smiles to the faces of the people in the disaster area. I will skate with all my heart and soul. A gentle piano melody echoes through the communication channel in the disaster area. Hanyu, who made a great impression, danced Haryo Koi with great excitement. His flexible skating is filled with tenderness, and every movement sharpens his nerves all the way to his eyes and fingertips. He uses his outstanding skating technique to create slow and fast movements, and his signature hydroblading technique involves lowering his body horizontally and sliding across the ice as if crawling. When Hanyu woke up, his hair was covered in ice particles that edge had scraped off. He showed off his high, wide, and dynamic delayed axle with a sense of dynamism. Today's dance, which fully reflected his professional evolution, was not performed for himself, but for the people affected by the disaster. This feeling was expressed in his words after the finale, where he skated with all his might while enthusiastically singing Mrs. Green Apple's Que Sera Sera, along with co-stars Takato Mur, Akiko Suzuki and Tomoko Miyahara. There are many people going through difficult times right now. Even if they say it's not difficult, I'm sure they still feel some discomfort or some kind of loneliness. There are some of you here. Please, I hope you can all feel a little warmth. He wants to give back to the disaster area. After turning professional, Hanyu appeared in the ice show Natsulata in his hometown of Miyagi, which suffered from the Great East Japan earthquake for 2 years in a row. The show was also made possible by his feelings for Kanazawa, which was also affected by the disaster. March of this year. According to a source from TV Kanazawa, which is hosting the show, the event was made possible after someone from Hanyu's side asked, "Can we do something for Noto?" On that day, Hanyu said the following in an interview with reporters. Personally, one of my main goals is to win 2 gold medals at the Olympics, and I want to start supporting and caring for disaster-stricken areas after winning 2 gold medals in a row. I have always worked hard in my active career and participation in competitions, but now that I have finally turned professional, I will gradually dedicate myself to work in disaster-stricken areas. Despite all this, being a figure skater is my #1 priority, so I hope that through my skating on the ice, I can help people in the disaster area and their emotional well-being. The same goes for March 11 and the various disasters that happen from time to time. This time, we did it as a charity aid for the Noto earthquake. He himself suffered from the Great East Japan earthquake, and for a while, he no longer had any interest in figure skating. However, when he came across his love for figure skating, he built a career that earned him the reputation of being the one and only absolute champion. As an athlete, the lone champion struggled to improve, but once he achieved his goal of winning 2 consecutive Olympic gold medals, the popularity he gained from his achievements. His goals are hidden in his desire to use figure skating to pay tribute and give energy and courage to step forward to the people in the disaster-stricken areas who have faced difficulties and are trying to rise up. It is not just about skating while praying. In June, he also visited the disaster-stricken cities of Ishikawa and Wajima, for the disaster-stricken areas to take their own steps forward. I had many opportunities to see the current situation in the disaster area, on the news screens, newspapers, TV, and in print, but when I actually saw it with my own eyes, the scars of the earthquake were still there. I was very shocked. The locals said things that still make them remember. This is what happened here, and this place was destroyed. When I heard people say, "I don't want to go here," I thought it was very poignant and painful. On the other hand, I also have the following thoughts. The first step towards recovery will be taken by the residents of the disaster-stricken areas themselves. That's why today's performance was called Challenge and was created in collaboration with Tyrannosuke, a Japanese drummer active in Noto, and the Noto High School Calligraphy Club. When I was asked about interacting with junior high school students in the disaster area, I told the kids when I met them that no matter how painful it is, when the time comes, we have to do something. That no matter how much you don't want to do it, no matter how much you want to do it, eventually you have to move on. It's been more than half a year since the earthquake, and I'm sure you're thinking about a lot of things, like what you can do and what progress has been made, but when it comes, and when it doesn't, it won't come, so there's nothing we can do. I think there are times when you have no choice but to think, there's nothing I can do about it. However, I hope that it can be held is filled with the smiles of the victims and the hard work they put in during that time. His tone was filled with hope that his performance would be a driving force that would push him forward, even if only a little bit. Never forget to be grateful. Fellow skaters also shared their thoughts.
Yuzuru Hanyu.
Murs said. With Yuzu's help, we were able to hold this event as a charity event, and I feel like skating there was very meaningful. I hope I can convey the message. It's okay, which is also in the lyrics, is something that many people like. I decided to participate in the hope that by watching this performance, I can gain the strength to move on and move forward to tomorrow, he said with a solemn expression. Suzuki said, "Every time an earthquake like this happens, I feel extremely helpless. However, by skating in such cases, I think we can convey something. I skated as hard as I could. Miyuhar. I'm glad I was able to participate in such an opportunity. I hope I can help the people affected by the disaster with my skating. I slipped while thinking about it," she said with all her might. I want to share with you a little bit of what I saw at this place. At the end, there is an impressive scene that Hanyu showed. I was waiting with several reporters for Mr. Hanyu to return home. When the door of the elevator that Hanyu got on opened, before heading to the exit, he stopped at the office counter where the staff were staying and looked at him. And this is what he said. "Thank you for the link, although it was not the first season. In fact, the rink at the site is usually open as in rink from October to June. This year, the ice for today's show was laid a few weeks earlier.